All right, so at this point, it's pretty clear that um, the perma bears were wrong again. This is not a repeat of the Great Recession here. That this is over. We're not going to make this mistake again. This was Kondratiev winter, I guess, is what you would uh, classify this. That we're not going to go back into another one of these. The memory of this is still vivid in many people's minds, so of course, they're constantly anticipating, the next shoe to drop. They're looking for the repeat of this because they think that the problems weren't solved, and to some extent, the debt problems have not been solved. But those problems are going to be um, papered over with monetary inflation, just like they were after the World War II and after the Vietnam War. So those are not insurmountable problems. Governments, unlike me and you, can print money, so they can inflate away their debt, and that's what they have done for years and years. Sometimes it can lead to a hyperinflation, but I don't think it's going to go that route this time. I do believe we've got some inflation coming in the years ahead, but I don't think the United States is going to hyperinflate their currency, or probably none of the European countries or Asian countries as well. So we're going to overcome that problem, and this was exactly what I said it was going to be. This is a regression to the mean correction in an ongoing long-term secular bull market, and a market that's being driven by technological advance. The uh, the bull market that topped here in 2000, this bull market was driven by the personal computer and the internet. This bull market is being driven by technological advance as well, being driven by advances in biotech, nanotech, robotics, artificial intelligence, autonomous transportation, clean energy. So there's a lot of drivers behind this bull market. This is not just being driven by monetary, uh, by printing, like many of the perma bears want to believe. That's not the sole driver of this bull market. Sure, it is a component, and it's probably a necessary component for for the technological explosion to progress. The money supply needs to increase. But this we just price just got stretched a little too far above this long-term 200-week moving average. Same thing that happened here. And this happened many times during the last bull market. 87 was another perfect example. And that's all this was. This was a 4-year cycle low. It did come a little bit earlier than I was anticipating. I was expecting it maybe in early 2020, so it caught me a little off guard as it came about a year earlier than anticipated. But that's all this was just price needed to either go sideways for a long time and allow this moving average some time to catch up, or it needed to pull back and retest this 200-week moving average before beginning the next leg of the bull market. And we kind of got a little bit of both. 2018 was more or less just a sideways year with the and with the uh, big pullback into the 4-year cycle low at the end of the year to test the 200-week moving average. And we're past that now. Like I've been saying, I think the odds are becoming smaller and smaller that we retest these lows. I think we probably just got a V-shaped bottom, very similar to this bottom here in 2016, the bottom in 2009. So I think the bears are probably hoping in vain at this point for the market to roll over and come back down and test these lows. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I think we are getting ready to start the second phase of this secular bull market. So this phase was driven by the FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix. Um, those stocks are very unlikely, put it that way, very unlikely those stocks are going to lead the second phase of this bull market. Uh, the second phase of this bull market should be led by a new group of stocks, stocks that are probably in the biotech sector, robotics, nanotech, artificial intelligence. The people that keep pointing to the underperformance of the FANG stocks as a reason why the market's going to crash, they just don't understand what's going on. It's time for those stocks that led this phase of the bull market to hand the reins to a new breed of stocks. And, if somebody had a crystal ball and could guess where the new Apple is going to be, then, you could make a ton of money over the next 10 or 15 years. But of course, that's never easy to do, anticipate which companies are going to blossom and turn into the leaders of the second phase of this bull market. But I can show you one area that I think is primed and ready to produce some very large gains over the next 10 or 15 years. All right, so this is the semiconductor index. I've shown you this chart several times in the past. I said in 2018 that when the semis reached this 2000 high, that it was too late in this four-year cycle. The four-year cycle bottomed here. It was just too late. It took too long for the semiconductor index to get to this to these highs, these 2000 highs. So the odds that we were going to just break through this and run were slim. The semis were going to need to again either churn sideways for a long period of time, or they were going to need to correct. And again, they did both. We get 2018 again was just a year of sideways, going nowhere, and then we get the breakdown into the four-year cycle low, and now the semis are leading again. So this is one area where you need to look for leadership, that we are now testing those 2000 highs, and it's been long enough. It's been almost 19 years since this top. That's long enough. It's time for a breakout now. And when you get a pattern this large, when this breakout occurs, it should go a long, long ways. So I would say this is a very good sector to have your 401k invested in over the next 10 or 15 years. This is another area I think that's going to be a big leader in the years ahead, is the biotech sector. They're not ready to break out yet, but I do think this is one sector that's going to lead during the next 15 years, and I suspect the next Apple or Amazon or Google, at least one of them, maybe multiple ones, are going to come out of this sector, out of the biotech sector. Here's another ETF, this ETF invests in companies exploring artificial intelligence. This should be another leader over the next 10 or 15 years. Robotics, another potential spot for some leading companies to emerge from. Um, you get the idea. It's time for a changeover. Time for the FANG stocks to hand the reins over to a new young group of companies that will lead the second phase of this bull market. And when you think about it, I've said repeatedly that I'm very bullish on the future. Uh, I think we are in a technological explosion phase, probably bigger than any other time in history. And when you think about it, it was only a little over 100 years ago that the Wright brothers invented the airplane. And in that time, um, we've sent probes past Pluto. We've left our solar system. The next uh, 50 or even 20 years, uh, technological expansion is progressing at a parabolic rate. And um, I think this is going to um, produce an amazing advance for the quality of life on planet Earth for humanity, and this is what is driving this bull market that started in 2009, and we've still got a long way to go yet, at least another 10 or 15 years. So I would urge people to try and ignore the perma bears that they're stuck in the mentality from 2009, looking for the next catastrophic event that's going to end the world. And and in my opinion, the future for humanity has probably never been brighter than it is right now.